So good morning, everybody. I'm Vicki, president of CBA. I want to welcome everybody to our second in a series of 5. And this one is going to be Coach Manufacturer's update on cleaning solutions. Our moderator today has been in the motor coach business for over 38 years. He's currently the regional sales representative of the West and Western coach for Daimler Coaches of North America. He has been a board member of CBA for many years and takes care of all of our golf tournaments during convention and is always there stepping up wherever we need him. And so now I'm going to turn this over to Don Jensen.
Thank you, Vicki. Welcome everyone for our next ongoing Friday CBA virtual convention here for this year. I'm going to run through our group this morning. We're going to go in alphabetical order. First of all, from ABC Van Hool, we have Brian Nelson. Brian is their engineering manager. He'll be first up as soon as I get through our introductions here. Next will be Daimler Coaches North America, Zane Gray. Zane is Director of Marketing for Daimler. Irizar, Jason Ronsville, VP Sales and Marketing. MCI is Brent Maitland, Vice President, Private Sector Sales and Marketing. Prevo Volvo is Robert Hipp, Director of Aftermarket Training, North America. TEMSA is Neil Wells, National Parts Manager. So go ahead here, Brian, and we'll take a look at your presentation. As soon as Brian's over, there is a Q&A button at the bottom here for everyone. You can type in a question during his presentation or raise a hand, and we will take your question and let Brian answer that, and then we'll move on to the next presenter. Thank you.
Thank you, Don, very much. I really appreciate it. I'm going to attempt to share my screen here, but I'm honored to be presenting in front of you all, and honored to be mentioned with the other panelists here today. Let me give this a shot. Can you see that okay?
Looks good.
Yes.
Looks good? Okay. All right, folks, I'm here to present the ABC CLEANS program. CLEANS stands for, it's an acronym, it stands for Contact Limitation and Eradication of Airborne Noxious Systems. And this is a program that we came up with. It's evolved through time, and we'll get into a little bit of that here in a minute. But as soon as COVID started to hit and we realized kind of what was going on, we got ourselves educated, and we wanted to provide a way for operators to allow passengers to have comfort when getting back onto their vehicles, onto their buses, onto their coaches, what have you. So that, combined with the CDC, we came up with a 3-prong approach initially. So there's the interior sanitization and disinfection, cleaning the coach, making sure all surfaces are disinfected and virus free. Then we have engineering and HVAC purification systems. All the things that we put into place for best practices as far as airborne transmission in order to mitigate those pathogens from passing on from passenger to passenger. And then we thought contact partitions along with the social distancing and passenger hygiene solutions would be prudent to offer those options as well. So as we get into the first one, early on, we looked at some hydrostatic sprayers. Some were hit and miss. Availability became very tough. So we came across this ultra low volume ULV fogger, which does just as good a job as some of those electrically charged solutions. What happens is it sprays out a very fine mist or a fog and coats all surfaces. So we have those available just to help out in addition to cleaning and wiping. Did a lot of work and a lot of research into our sanitizer. The one that we currently offer is FDA approved and is awaiting approval for the EPA to appear on that N list. And the N list basically states what the EPA has tested and proven or went through the process to ensure that that product will in fact kill the COVID virus. So that N list is really important. We should be on that very soon. So those were the standardization products. As we get into the engineering and the HVAC purification system, the first thing that we wanted to do was to find the best possible filter that would still allow the system to function in an optimal way, the HVAC. We did not want to undercut performance, and we did not want to select anything that would impact the system in a negative manner. We kind of found that fine line with a MERV 15 filter, did all our tests, did all the calculations prior to static pressure, felt comfortable with the way that that filter performed, and we're very comfortable with what the filter's efficacy is as far as viruses, pathogens, and transmission of those. Another passive system. So a filter would be a passive system. You put it in, you allow the air to go over it, it filters the air. Another passive system is UV lights. We've had these around since 2018. Even prior to that, we worked with another company to get those on one of our customers' vehicles. So these go back and back and back. The biggest problem with this right now is just availability. Other than that, these have proven to work very well. Like I said, it's a passive system, mounts right in our existing evaporators, allows the air to go over it, and actually destroys the DNA of the virus, rendering it inert so that you will not be affected. We're working on a new product now, bipolar ionization product. I don't have a whole lot to say about this right now, but this would be considered an active system. And the way that this product works is it ionizes oxygen in the air. The oxygen then, the ionized oxygen molecules are then transmitted via the ducts into the cabin. And since they have negative charge, they attract themselves to viruses. And through chemistry and the protein spikes on the virus, will pull hydrogen out and form oxygen and actually destroy the viruses inside the cabin itself. So while filters and UV lights depend on that air passing by it, these would be active particles, ions that would seek that virus out and help to destroy it. So we hope to have some more information on this in the coming weeks very soon. And then the last strategy, like I said, is social distancing. We teamed up with Sardo, and driver partitions and all those things are very well known. So anything that you can do, anything that you require seating plans, things like that, we can help you come up with plans to maintain those 6 feet distances between seats, and then apply the preventative measures that you see fit. So another thing that we've been asked to talk about here, I have a couple notes, that concludes the presentation as far as that goes. I'll stop sharing this screen here. But I just wanted to talk really quickly about the basic limited warranty extended. Basically, the only requirement is that the coach had to be covered under a regular 30-month warranty as standard. In that case, 3 months will be added. Now, I haven't heard if any more months are going to be added or not, but I would recommend that that you would reach out to our customer care group, Michael Anstead, Chuck Doble, or Warranty, and they'll be able to provide any more information that you may have from that. So with that, I'll conclude, and any questions, be happy to answer.
Looks like I do not see any questions yet at the bottom of the screen. So at this time, we'll move forward to Zane Gray from Daimler Coaches. Welcome, Zane.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for having us on as well. Tough times, but glad to be spending some time with you guys. I love the open forums we get to have on some of these meetings, and like hearing how you guys are doing. But so Daimler Coaches North America, obviously a sub-company of Daimler itself over in Europe. We've diligently been working with our European mothership to come up with best practices as well. for this COVID-19. So an overview, I've got just a quick 6-page presentation as well. Citrus stands for safety, and this especially is visible during the COVID-19 pandemic. Happy to share this with anybody that wants this presentation afterwards. But we'll go over some rapid air exchange information, general recommendations while the bus is operating, and how to get optimal purification, and then some retrofit solutions as well. First thing I'd like to share is a lot of questions have been going around and coming to us about this rapid change of air. And we have, our engineers in Europe have come up with the temperatures if you're using the HVAC system in auto mode. As you can see here, it's saying a complete change of air every minute. If you're using the fresh air mode, and usually that fresh air mode is in between about 47 degrees and 75 degrees. If it's below or above 75 or below 47, it's typically about every 3 minutes. And then if you have the complete recirculation button on, obviously it's going to be recirculating that air inside your coach. And so it's going to be no exchange of air possible when those flaps are closed. Most of the time when our units are running, they're running on the automatic mode. So you will get one of these two depending on where that temperature is and how much the flaps need to open or close to keep that at a constant temperature. So we also have come up with some recommendations to the driver itself. And I think we need to, as we start seeing the buses rolling further and further, that's going to be the key. Is how do we train them to properly handle this coach for COVID-19 as passengers get off and on and go into different areas to visit. Before setting off, they can purify the air in a vehicle by doing certain things, like when the engine is running, door and driver's windows are closed, HVAC system is deactivated, and set the blowers at 50%. What that's going to do is open all your vents, and it's going to completely refresh the air in there. So then there's also information of while they're driving, what they can do from using the auto mode versus setting the recirculate on all the time. When other times they may need to use a recirculate, like the tunnel, the traffic jams, misted windows to get fresh air in. And then brakes while they're on the road, right? I mean, they're there, that what can they do during this time? And then what's the best thing they can do after the journey? So again, I'd love to share this with anybody out there, but how do you quickly purify the air on these different times is vitally important to what our customers are going to want to see. General recommendations for the bus travel during their operations. And I think this will go for a lot of us. It's not just for Cetra, but don't overfill the luggage rack so you can get optimal airflow. Change your filters at the recommended times or even sooner. In our past life, we used to clean out a lot of filters. You heard people beating them or blowing them out. Definitely not a recommendation from our end is just go ahead and replace them. I think for most of the manufacturers, we could speak up and say that they're fairly inexpensive, and so it's definitely worth changing them. Cleaning the vehicle interior regularly, leaving all air vents in the passenger control panels open for airflow. Plan for the brakes. So this was one I thought was pretty interesting that they came up with, was plan sufficient brakes so that when you're on board toilet is only being used in emergencies. That's less touch points for our customers or your customers. So plan for that. You can place marker tape to help with social distancing. And then, as we all know, is to advise passengers about current and local regulations as you're going to different states and areas. One of the areas that we're working on, like Brian had mentioned as well, is as you all know, we have protected driver doors that we can install in the coaches. We have access to very similar, I think, as most manufacturers are going to say, the seat backs and trying to social distance those, and we as well will work with somebody like Sardo to help out because they have come up with some really nice solutions For us, we have come up with our own driver door. It's clear from top to bottom. So there is no impeding view for your driver as they're driving the coach. We also have access to things like hand sanitizer dispensers. I think a lot of you will have your own access to those. But if you need assistance in getting those in there and where we should put them, please don't hesitate to reach out. This is probably the most innovative item we've come up with. As we looked through a lot of the electrostatic foggers and the different chemical bombs that are going off and things to sanitize your coaches, we really felt like we wanted to pull your employees out of that. You see them in masks and respirators, and it just didn't look safe. So for us, we designed an automatic fogging system that can be installed in your coach. Right now it's around 10 to 12 nozzles to completely cover the coach. It is very well installed to where you almost don't see it, and your customers won't have access to the various nozzles and things that are in there. And I know this picture is a bit hard to see, but it gives you an idea of the complete coach getting fogged. We have set it to various times. We've used various chemicals. We want to leave the chemical up to you. We have some recommendations that we can give you, but some of you have already found what you like and what you feel is best. For us, it's a simple red button outside the coach. You would leave your bus running, your HVAC running at 100%, hit the red button. This whole system will go off for about 60 seconds. And then it takes about 7 to 10 minutes with your HVAC running, and the coach is completely dry. So it's such a fine mist that it doesn't bog up or get too wet. So that's really the end of presentation for me as well. Again, want to thank you guys for having us on. And as Brian Nelson had also mentioned, so as far as extended warranties, if you had a warranty with us and it was still under warranty, as of this pandemic going on, we added 4 months worth of additional warranty on there. If you have questions about your warranty, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or a partner in our organization. Thanks, Don.
Don, you're muted.
Oh, excuse me. Thank you very much, Zane, for that. Michael, looks like do we have a question? I saw yours.
There was a question about the cost of that system, auto system there. Zane. Sorry, you're muted also, Zane.
Zane, you're muted.
Yeah, that's the statement of 2020, isn't it? I'm mute. Please reach out to me directly, and Don and everyone can get you my information. Love to cover that with you. We have various options, so it depends on how much you want to do, where you want to install it, who's going to install it. So please feel free to reach out to me, and I can cover that with you.
Thank you, Zane. Okay, next up, Jason. Let's rock and roll it.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to be here. Appreciate the opportunity. As everyone's mentioned, we have some wonderful opportunities here. So let me see if we can get going here with are we good? Can everyone see that?
Yes, looks good.
Okay. First off, we just want to again say thank you for allowing us to be part of it, of today's meeting, and just going to cover just a few little things that we have that I think would be of interest to our customers that are currently using the ERS RI6. And then also some items briefly that can be used in our coach as well as in our competitors' coaches, something that can be shared across in different fleets. Specific to the ears
Hey, Jason, real
we
quick.
have the driver shields and also the passenger shields, which are conformed for our seats specific. We've had quite a few customers that have added those in the Bay Area as well as in Texas, and they've really turned out very well. Yes.
Jason, your audio is cutting out quite a bit. You want to try to turn off the video, see if that makes it your audio any better. Or just the screen's fine. Just turn your camera off.
Okay.
Okay. Don, you want to move? Let's move to the next one, and I'll work with Jason to get back with him.
Okay. Next up, we're going to move on to Brent Maitland at MCI. Brent, are you ready there?
Should be. Can you see my screen coming up here?
Brent, I can see you. Don't see your screen. There you go, Brent. You're up and running.
Okay, good. Well, thanks everyone for the time today. I know we've got some of our team and a number of customers on the call as well. We just had some. We'll go over a little bit some of the resources. So when you have questions following up on this,
so as we move from the driver shields and passenger shields, the big items.
Michael, can you?
It's weird because he is muted, so I don't know. I don't know if it's a problem with Zoom going on right now. Just give it a second here. Sorry.
Sorry, Brent.
Which is
that's all right.
An item produced by one of our.
Can you log him out, Michael?
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Hey.
There we go. All right, Brent, you're back on.
Rock and roll. So, just things we've been focusing on. I've got a bunch of slides for those of you who know me. I'll just give you a kind of a quick tour and then we'll make them available afterwards. It's pretty consistent with what we've done on some other webinars as well. So, our focus as a company has been a lot of customer communication, cleaning, disinfecting, lobbying, warranty extensions, trying to share all of the different actions that our associations are requesting. And then obviously, how do we take care of our vehicles and how do we, make sure our customers are communicated with and who do they call if they've got issues. So whatever it takes to get to the other side of COVID and the relief we're all going for, certainly that's been a major focus. So just if anyone has any questions, feel free to call our team, but the focus we have is warranty, parts, tech support, field support, emergency roadside assistance, service centers, training, and really the focus for us has been to keep the customer facing element of the organization as consistent as we can. And I know there have been changes, especially in California, that a lot of people are aware. This just is our sales organization, sales and marketing. So I know Dave's on the call, a number of other ones. I think Pat Ziska is on this call as well. So any questions, feel free to give us a ring. Juan is on too, I believe. Dave Johnson we saw last week. Our TSMs, mission critical as we get rolling. Tim Nash, David Buganig out there, and then Dave Mailot leading the group. So a good group of TSMs. Our call center is open for text support 24/7. We've got that team here. And then our RPMs, so parts managers, a lot of the questions on the cleaning, disinfecting items will route back through this group with Mike Kopish leading that and Tim Barnes heading up the group. And then warranty, that group will be handling the extensions. So we've got that team contact here. Any coordination will help you out. And then on our website, you can just go and click California and it'll show your whole service and support team there, and that's all updated. So just some things specific to California. Our plan for Southern California, keeping Frank Orm on there, getting him out in a service truck. He's really going to be making the rounds. That's happening now, coordinated by our team there, and then bridging that into doing some service work out of our Ontario location, and then parts working with a lot of the customers out there just to make sure that as we move stock from the Los Al area that we've got a plan in place, whether it's stocking or whatever. So just to hit on some of those things, if anyone has any questions, feel free to give us a ring. In terms of resources for cleaning, disinfecting, you guys are probably aware that CDC just changed its guidelines. So it moved from respiratory droplets as the main, but also possibly airborne or can be airborne. That just changed on the 5th. So because of that, there's probably going to be a little more caution by passengers, increased emphasis on filtration, likely higher MERV ratings on filters, and probably some increased emphasis on continuous disinfecting. And Brian hit some of those items as well. All of our resources are put on our website, so you can go to mcicoach.com. Under the COVID-19 updates in the upper left, any webinar we do or any checklist that we publish is going to be there for you to download. Most of our objectives are to try to put tools and resources that help you guys understand practices for cleaning, disinfecting, and then help to create customer confidence in that. These are just some examples. If you look on the right side, we call it our Extreme Clean Toolkit, but we'll post our cleaning and disinfecting guidelines. There's a disinfecting checklist that you can download and update yourself. And then there's some customer communication tools that you can use as well. Download, use those to communicate with customers. An example of that on the left would be our checklist. Whether it's PDF or Excel, just download it. If you have any questions, we'll help you customize it, help you find it. On the right side would be some examples of customer communications. Again, you can download those and use them as you see fit. And you can also change things if they don't apply to your business. Just make the edits. HVAC tutorial, I'll get into this a little bit, but a lot of questions around HVAC, so much that we published this graphic just so people could use it. 6 times fresh air exchange per hour, 30 times filtered. We're doing some work right now with our engineering teams, and this shortly is going to go to fresh air at 15 times per hour and filtered 60 times. So we'll make the changes once we finalize that testing, and then you guys can use the graphic to help educate passengers, et cetera. We put information on disinfectants, the applications, what we sort of don't recommend, bleach and ammonia, and what we do recommend, lactic acid, hypochlorous acid, and then most of those would align with what we would sell through the parts group as well. If you go to our NFI parts team, you'll see clean and protect. And generally those items, NFIparts.com, clean and protect, disinfecting, distancing, air quality, and PPE. So sort of the same categories. Most of the OEs have similar items now available, and you'll find them all at the website. We have driver barriers. You know, it started off with sort of more of the security barriers that we had available, and now we're introducing some lower cost protective barriers. Air filtration, probably the latest right now. We've had a MERV 8 with antimicrobial, And we're gonna also start to offer MERV 15, just because of what I talked about earlier with the CDC. And that'll be pleated, so it'll be a little different in terms of the hardware required, but that'll be one of the next up. Ventilation systems, UV lighting systems that most people have now heard about. The PPE products, including including the fogger, which I think most people are using in their operations at this point. And then the latest one would be this active system, a similar ionic charged, and so it really seeks out the virus and kills it in an active way on both surfaces and in the air. So this is really the latest introduction that we've been spending some time on. It's surface mounted. We're also working on a version that would go in the HVAC ducting itself. So I think we'll see more of this just because of the CDC guidance change as we start to move forward a little bit. I'm not going to go into detail on it, but in the slides will be some FAQs on how does it work, what's an oxidizer, how does that kill viruses, its efficacy, and its safety elements. So you guys will be able to take a look at that. If there's any questions on the system, our parts team or our sales team will be able to answer those questions. Just flip through that. And then finally, warranty extensions. We're also offering a 3-month extension. We've already extended. So basically, if people want to extend an additional 3 months for existing in-service vehicles, we've got a form, you fill it out, and then we'll just tack 3 months onto the end. And I think at this point, it would be sort of November 1st through January of next year. And essentially, we've allowed 500 miles a month to drive it. But in general, we wouldn't expect to see warranty claims in those periods while they're out of, while we're deferring the warranty. But I think this is working pretty well. So we're glad to do that for our customers. And then we have been deferring for any new deliveries as well. There's a form to fill out. It's the same form you would have filled out the first time around. And then that just goes back into our warranty group. So any of our team can help shepherd that through the system, but it's relatively easy. So that is a quick tour, and like I said, we're glad to make the slides available to anyone who wants them after the call.
Thank you, Brett. Very nice presentation there. Michael, did we have something in the chat or question and answer, or are we good?
Nothing at this time. Unless anybody, if you'd like to ask a question, you can raise their hand.
Okay.
Right now, there's nothing.
Did we get Jason at Irizar fixed, or where do we stand with him?
Not yet. Let's just move on to the next one.
Okay, let's move on to Prevo Volvo with Robert. Robert, you're up.
Thank you, Don. I guess one of the things is I need to unmute in order for everybody to hear me, right?
That's correct.
So I will go ahead and, sorry, I don't know why my video stopped, but I should be back up and running right now. All right, so number one, thank you, CBA, for giving us this opportunity. I know, speaking for myself and others, we sure appreciate any FaceTime we can get with your group. It really helps us out. Direct links to everything I'm going to be showing you is in the presentation that I went ahead and forwarded to Michael earlier, so everybody should have that. So one of the things we want to start with is our cleaning care program, of course. Under cleaning care, what we've done when we launched cleaning care back in April, we never imagined we'd be where we are today. So this has gone and drawn out a lot longer than we thought it would. But when this happened, it did give us an opportunity as a motor coach manufacturer to look at airflow, what we do, and improve different systems on the coach. So when we look at this cleaning care program, this is a living document. It's being updated on a regular basis. And there's things added to it on a regular basis. And it's not a one size fits all. So you as a consumer need to take a look at what's being offered, ask lots of questions, and make sure that you educate yourself on what the needs of your customers are going to be. So all of this information, of course, is available at prevocar.com. And I'm not going to try to go to our website and show you all these different things because we all know with these live meetings, sometimes when you go to a website, disaster follows. So let's just stick with the PowerPoint presentation. On the subject of extended warranty, we offered originally a 3-month warranty. We had over 800 customers, or I'm sorry, 800 coaches in that program that took advantage of it. And then we offered a 1-month extended after that 3 months was up. And we had about 200 customers reply back to us and go ahead and enter into that program. So when we look at this, again, these solutions that we put out so many different products and solutions for the market. I mean, these things really vary, everything from PPE to driver, passenger distancing options, as well as MERV filtration. And of course, some marketing tools, our ready to go program, quick little messages for social media or for email that are already crafted so you can send them out to your customers to keep them informed before they go, while they're on the move, and what to expect when the driver arrives, what your policies are, whether it's masks or what advanced filtration you have on the coach. So all of these things are really good consumer tools for you to take advantage of. When we look at some of the most important things that we've done, I feel like drivers' barriers, we've got to protect our drivers. I think that's one of the key things. So we have a couple of different options there. Again, something as small as a decal to keep your customers informed at the entrance door is key. Seat partitions, we have those. We also did quite a bit on our disinfecting process. So one of the key things is MI, which is maintenance information. It gives you our recommended cleaning procedures, as well as the products that are okay to use. And make sure that you go ahead and educate yourself, depending on the fabric of your coach, whether it is vinyl or whether, depending on what type of fabric it is on your seats, some chemicals will harm them. So you can go to our website, and I'm sure the other manufacturers have similar information. But if you look under the supplier publications, we have stuff in there from American Seating. We have some stuff in there from fabric manufacturers on what chemicals to avoid. That's the important one, so that you don't damage those seats in the long term. So this again is updated on a regular basis. And I know the view is too small for you to see, but we've included links at the end of this presentation. One of the most important ones has been Maintenance Information 2008A, Storage and Startup Guidelines. So we accompanied this with an online learning so that we know that a lot of your techs are laid off right now or not working on a regular basis. So they might be a little bit rusty when they come back, or they might have some questions or concerns about the document. So what we've done is we've done a actual video series to go with this 72-point inspection on getting your bus back out on the road to make sure that it's good and reliable. So that's a key one there. And again, then of course our MERV filtration up here, we've got 8 and 13 at this point. Again, filtration is going to be key, and treatment of the air in the future is going to be key. So we're not done with this. We've got 25 solutions at this point, but we continue to do some things in advanced engineering to where we are going to be able to have some announcements here very quickly on future solutions for the motor coach industry. We also do weekly calls. And those weekly calls are called Tip of the Week. We do webinars every week. We inform you of any changes of our cleaning care program. But more importantly, we record these. So when your techs get back to work, or if you miss one of our Thursday afternoon sessions, you can take advantage of it and go in and watch the recorded version. So I think that's very important also. So PTI Online gives us a fantastic opportunity for the customers to take advantage of. Like I mentioned, the maintenance and storage, having the check sheet is great, but also having that e-learning to go ahead and reinforce that is a fantastic tool. Driver familiarization. Drivers have been sitting idle for a while, no pun intended, but a refresher on the dash controls, wheelchair lift operation, all of these things we have online and available to you. So make sure you take advantage of that. Of course, all of our online training is of no charge to you. The other thing that we've done is we've reached out and we've leveraged our partners in the entertainer market to go ahead and put some social messages out there, or some messages on social media, to make sure that we bring attention to what's going on in the bus industry at this time. So that's something that we have also done. Communication is the key, and it's important work that we continue to do on a daily basis. Follow us, like us, love us, all of the above. So if you're into social media, keep an eye out. We've opened up Capitol Heights, Maryland, a new facility there. So there to support you. We're also very involved, like Brent said, on the political side of things with CERTS Act and lobbying and everything else. So we're doing our work there. Tip of the Week webinars, as I mentioned earlier, these are key. They're recorded, they're there. We've completely gone through HVAC troubleshooting, and we've also gone through the pneumatic braking system, two key areas when we do get back to work. One of the things to think about when we get back to work, you know, when we get back to moving people, the business model is going to be a little leaner for everybody. We've invested in our network, and luckily with the work that we do in other markets, our network is very strong between motorhome and what we do in the transit market. So our network continues to grow. And one of the things we want to mention is, as you look at the future, some of the loss of key techs in the industry, we continue to invest in our technicians and our skill levels at our branches, not to just work on our product, but to work on all products. So one of the things that can be an advantage to you is take those maintenance costs and roll them into low monthly payments via a service contract. So I don't want to turn this into a sales promotion, but if you have, you know, we can break this down into pennies per mile and have a monthly bill, rather than a big hit in the overhead of shop expenses. So again, just another alternative that we have out there and that we've been working on. The other thing is we are open. We have an interactive map at our website. Whenever we have any changes at any of our locations, we are 18 locations strong right now. We have cut back on some of the work hours in the Northeast, simply because the commuter market and people traveling into the cities have really dropped. So we're not running the 3 shifts like we used to, but we still offer service and maintenance facilities that are open and ready to do work for you. So right now we're 18 full service facilities. We got 57 plus service vans out there roaming the country, ready to help out. And that doesn't even include our service provider network, which our Volvo truck dealers giving us engine support as well as support in other areas. So again, all of this is available at prevocar.com. I've included some handy links on customer communications, cleaning care, ready to go. The marketing and social media tools is really a handy thing to have. Keep your customers informed of what's going on. And some direct links to the vinyl and fabric care. And then all of our promotions that I had on that sheet with the 25 different solutions is all located right there. So with that, again, we would welcome any questions, anything out there that that is of concern or you want to know more about.
No written questions this time. Again, if anybody wants to ask a verbal question, go ahead and hit raise hand. Go that.
Robert, real quick, do you know what you guys have done on the extended warranty on your coach? That was some of the questions the board had in a previous call.
Yeah, and maybe I went through that too quickly, Don, but that was on my third slide. We launched a 3-month extended back in April for customers that we sent letters to everybody that had coaches under warranty. What we did is we ended up with 800 customers or 800 coaches that responded and were entered into that warranty program. Then we came back and we added another month to that. And where we're at right now is we were at that 4-month time span added to normal warranty that you would have had, the 24-month.
Great. Thank you very much for that. Sorry, I missed that quick slide that you went through. A very nice presentation there, Robert. Just a quick update for everybody. Jason at Irizar is actually working out of, I think, his Missouri home today, and he's got a weather issue related, so he's got an internet problem. So we will make his presentation available to everyone after this, whoever would like it. So with that being said, we're going to move on with TIMSA and Neil Wells. Neil, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining, and thanks to CBA for having us and allow us to present here today. Just a few slides that we want to run through and talk about. Let's see. All right, everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay. So during this period, one of the things that we want to communicate with our customers, especially as everyone has buses that are in storage currently. Maybe you have techs that are still able to work or might not. We want to make sure everyone knows that if there's any maintenance you can perform on your coaches, to continue doing that. Standard maintenance is great, but at a minimum, if you're able to at least start your coaches once a week, let them run for about 15 to 20 minutes at a minimum. If you can move them around your yard or your lot some, just to keep them going, run your AC while the coach is running. And then, if you can perform standard maintenance, then that's great, but at least, keep it moving, keep your DEF system moving. So that's just something we're trying to communicate with our customers. So that way, when you're ready to go, you don't run into a lot of surprises, because that's the last thing you want to have happen. As far as our warranty, TIMSA provided a 90-day extension on new coach warranties, provided the coach was still under warranty as of June 1st of this year, 2020. The extension doesn't apply to any Cummins or Allison warranties. It's strictly the TIMSA coach warranty, but they have extended it 90 days. If there's any questions about the warranty or its coverage or any requirements, feel free to reach out to myself or our warranty group, and we'll be able to answer those for you. Currently, we still have all 3 of our facilities open, full service. Our service departments are open, able to do any DOT inspections for you, AC repair, minor body. Our parts warehouses are fully stocked, still offering same-day shipping on all orders. CSRs, our regional technical support team, they are still available and traveling when and where they are able to. And then, of course, our 24/7 technical and parts support is still available to everyone. Once you're getting started, we're encouraging customers, make sure you know the local and regional guidelines wherever it is you're traveling to. ABA and UMA have done a great job putting out some recommended guidelines for cleanliness. We're following their guidelines and recommending operators to take a look at those and use those. And then in talking with some of our customers, we're seeing a lot of things across the board. Some groups that are traveling more cautious than others. I mean, we hear stories about the airlines. Some airlines may be packing them in, others maybe not so much, and kind of seeing the same thing in some of with our customers. Some passengers are they're ready to go. They're getting on the buses, and others are being more cautious. So, when you're getting back on the road, talk with your customers. What are they expecting? What are they looking for from you? I think we're going to see a lot of things across the board. Our current offerings, we have a line of Coach cleaners and sanitizers. We're distributor for the Monochem product line, which is everything from toilet deodorizers and cleaners, but they have a really great disinfectant that we're pushing and recommending. It does meet the EPA guidelines for ingredients, so it's something that you could use safely. Smells great too. So driver's barriers, we have a driver's barrier that we offer from factory. It's not an enclosure, but it's a behind the back barrier. We've moved to MERV 9 filtration just to make sure your airflow stays the same. We don't want to affect the performance of your AC system. And we found that the MERV 9 is adding a good amount of filtration without affecting the performance of the AC system. We do have some MERV 13 available, but MERV 9 is kind of where we've settled as far as our recommended filter at this point. We have a line of hand sanitizer available, 70% alcohol, fresh scent, quickly evaporates with dispensers. So, if that's something you're looking for, we have that available as well. And that's something that, we're recommending to have available. It's basic, it's common sense. Between sanitizer and masks, that's kind of the new world that we live in now and what people are used to, and two basic options that your customers can use and be familiar with. And then we've partnered with Sardo and Power Manufacturing. Sardo, of course, has passenger dividers, the seat bands. They have measurements for the Temsa coaches. So if there's anything you need in regards to those items, they'll be more than able to help you out. Power Manufacturing, we have partnered with them, and they do have a full driver's enclosure that has a swinging door that we could offer you if that's something that you're looking for. You could talk with us or talk with Power directly, but they have those ready to go for the Temsa coaches. And then we just have some flyers here talking about our different products, the Monochem line, the disinfectant wash down, and the top mop, which has the same ingredients, but it's a lesser concentration than the wash down. Our driver's barrier, and then our hand sanitizer line. Some things that we're working on both for current coaches on the road and new coaches for delivery in the future is we are working on some UVC light technology. Our focus at this point is in the AC ductwork. We are working with a local company here in Florida to develop something for our coaches. And then we're also working with MCC and Eppersbacher in regards to the work that they're doing with their systems as well. So we're hoping to come out with some options for the UVC light. We're also working on a unit that is UVC light combined with additional MERV filtration. So that way you're not having to look at different products. You've got one product that can do that for you. We're working on some ways to increase the airflow for our coaches. Currently, if you have your recirc on, the air will recirculate through the coach 8 to 10 times an hour. But we're looking at some ways to try and increase that airflow. And then we have a vendor that we're working with on some interior sanitizing options. A lot of people are using the electrostatic fogger, which has been great. We're using it in our shops. But they can be pricey, and when you've got a coach going on the road for perhaps a multi-day tour, it's pricey to put a fogger on every coach. So we have disposable foggers that we're offering, and then we're also working with a company on a new sanitizing, disinfecting option. Can't really say too much about that one right now, but we're hoping to introduce that here in the next month or two. But other than that, I mean, we're recommending, use, common sense cleaning, disinfecting methods, high touch areas, have sanitizer available, masks. A lot of your passengers have their own masks now, but have masks available. So, but does anyone have any questions regarding any of our products or recommendations?
Neil, we had a one here in the Q&A, and I think Kevin Creighton was just trying to add a little fun. He just wondered if any of your sanitizer has a Jack Daniels scent to it. So
no, but I've got a bottle here if you want some.
Thank you very much. So great presentation as well. I don't know if we've got any more chats going on. Michael, do you see anything?
I don't see anything now. I do have a question that I'd like to pose to all of the manufacturers if they want to pop back on here real quick. While we're doing that, so all of you, I think all of you mentioned driver barriers and such, but I have a question from Jay Johnson about those, saying that the CHP has come out with a decision that polycarbonate barriers do not meet window standards for a vehicle and therefore are not allowed. Has anybody had any conversations with the California Highway Patrol or have any other or information about that, or possibly if it's FMCSA allowed, or any information there?
My question back to Jay would be, I understand his question of it being glass for the vehicle on the exterior, but I think the panelists and everybody that presented here, these are all interior plexi type barriers, which I don't personally think that there would be an issue with that, because it's not an exterior product. It's just something to protect the driver area. Does anybody have anything to add to that?
One of the things that I can add to that is keep in mind there's a big difference between plexiglass and polycarbonate. And that seems to be some of the concern. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there to look at the difference of impact on polycarbonate versus plexiglass. So number one, the ones I've seen are all polycarbonate. So the safety factor is there. That's good. Also, we have DOT and FMCSA certification on ours, so it does meet the requirements. Now, what Chip has done, I'm not that familiar with, so we're going to have to reach out and see what is going on there.
That's the same with ours, and I think it's like AS2 glass standard or something that it meets for the polycarbonate.
Yeah,
it's probably something we just want to follow up with, make sure it might especially be applicable on SPAB, on our SPAB certification. So we'll just check into that. CHP.
We also have another question in here in the chat room or Q&A column. Somebody's transporting a half-loaded nurses with mask only on, and they're asking about our filtration. I think every one of you guys commented on that. So my answer back to that is just go onto the website of that coach manufacturer, and they have that answered for you on how many times the air is being exchanged throughout the coach.
Yeah, and Don, I think if you take a look at what happens in a typical office building or house, That air is exchanged about once every 3 hours. To put it in perspective, and on our side of things, we've released, just like MCI has, the airflow charts and how many cubic feet per minute, how much is fresh air. So there's a lot of good information out there. Reach out to your OEM and they can really help you out with that.
Great. Does any one of you coach manufacturers have the SPAB in California take a look at your protective shield and authorized an approval of that, or nobody has an answer for that? That was another question in the Q&A. And I guess that's a no on SPAB right now. So Michael, we may want to present that to SPAB to get their approval or disapproval on that driver barrier.
Yeah, we can follow them. That'd be with CHP. They're the one that do the SPAB inspections. So we can follow up on that.
Yeah, and keep us in the loop, please, because we definitely want to make sure that this solution is going to meet or exceed anything that CHP comes up with.
Does anyone know if that is limited to the passenger dividers in the passenger seat and not related to the driver's barriers? Because the driver's barriers have been out there for a while, so I'm just wondering if it's related to newer products, maybe.
The product, Neil, that I know you're working with is Sardo. I've actually seen some of those in the passenger compartment, and it's basically a clear, looks like a shower curtain, totally in clear, which to me is great for passenger separation. That I've seen some photos of that, but yeah, not really sure, Michael. If we could get, I don't know if we've got a customer in the CBA organization where we're having the Highway Patrol come in, and one, they have a driver protective barrier, and two, they have a separation. So that's something that we should look into as well, that is approved by CHP. That's a good question, Neil. Thank you.
Yes.
Anyway, is that it there, Michael? I think we've done pretty well. I want to, first of all, thank the OEMs and you panelists this morning. You guys all did a great job answering questions and making everything available on your websites for the customers to take a look at. Looks like we just got maybe another question or two come in. Somebody was asking about concerns blocking emergency exits with these barriers. The photo that I've seen of these barriers is basically comes down maybe not all the way to the floor, but comes from the overheads down to maybe just past the headrest area for protecting the passengers in front and behind. So I do not believe that's an issue in blocking any emergency exits, whether it be a window or a roof hatch. So I think hopefully that answers that question. Mike?
If I may, one of the reasons we like Sardo's product is because it like you said, it's kind of like a shower curtain, a clear shower curtain, is that it doesn't present any additional hazards as far as some type of hard object that someone might hit their head on or fall on. And so in the case of an emergency, it's just a plastic sheet. So limiting movement would probably not be likely.
Okay, a couple of more here is how do these barriers affect the airflow and circulation of the coach? One of you guys want to jump in and answer that? Robert, Brent, either one?
for our coach, basically the airflow is coming up, if you can visualize, and I can send out the chart to you, but basically coming up the wall, coming back down, and then going into the return. So the partitions go along the seats this way, and the air is actually flowing this way. So as far as the airflow, it really doesn't have too much effect on it at all.
And I would think that's pretty similar for all manufacturers, that our airflow blows pretty much the same way, and that it wouldn't affect it no more than a passenger sitting in the seat.
You know, I will mention one thing though, is air duct cleaning, as well as your fresh air vents, and making sure that it may sound silly, but your restroom fan is functioning. We need to remove some of that stale air out of there, and every bit of that helps. So, you know, checking your return air is critical, not just better filtration, but, you know, if this coach is 5 years old, how much do we have built up in that return air duct? And we may need to get in there and do a little bit of cleaning.
Yeah, and I think another area of opportunity, to your point, Robert, is keeping your temperature at a comfortable temperature, not so much super cold but air on the side of it, maybe even being just a degree or two on the warm side where they keep the air vents open above them. Again, more airflow is always better. I know a lot of you operators have talked about this in the past and some other panel discussions where, you know, you're having to go in and open up all the vents after a trip or even taking a break. So maybe that's a temperature guidance you can use inside your coaches to keep it where the passengers want those vents open all the time.
We've got another couple of questions here. With the increase of the air replacement, is there a AC capacity reduction?
Yeah, I think Robert answered that real quickly, that there's no reduction because the air is still able to flow in the same manner that it's always been able to flow. And you're talking about, you know, 2 or 3 mils of plastic in between these seats. So it's not enough to truly affect the flow.
And that's part of the reason we just can't jump right into a hospital style HEPA filter. You need to make sure that we don't create low pressure problems, you know, because the airflow is a really big benefit, and we don't want to lose that benefit. And I hate to say it, by better filtration, because once you cut down on that airflow, then you're not moving it quickly enough to keep the air healthy inside the coach.
We've got another question here for the group. Roof vent replacement with a fan one. And they, of course, had the cost. Well, of course, the cost is going to be more. I'm pretty sure you guys all offer that option if they want to exchange a roof hatch out that has a fan in it, that you do have that available through your parts group. Is that correct?
Yeah, we do. Von Hoy ABC.
Yeah, Brent shaking his head. Yeah.
It's probably, I mean, it's, some people are doing it. Probably the other benefit is just the temperature pull down, probably more than really the airflow changes as you get into it, but it is available.
Okay, well, great. Looks like that's it. I'm seeing for questions. Once again, from myself, and I think Vicky's going to have a couple closing remarks, but want to thank all you guys again, and great presentations, and thank your companies for allowing your time here today and participating with us at our virtual convention this year at CBA. I'd rather see all you guys out on the golf course.
Thanks for hosting.
Thank you. Here's
Thank you,
Vicky, I think.
Yes, thank you, everybody. And next week, our third session will be on marketing. They'll be reviewing and resetting at little or no cost. So make sure when you get the email that you register again for it. And we will see you next Friday. Have a great week.
Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.